for all the less talk of former President Trump's alleged incitement. Well, our next guest says President Biden has not just incited the next border crisis, but opened the door to violence. Joining me now is Stephen Miller, former senior advisor to President Trump, and Mark Morgan, former acting commissioner of U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Stephen, welcome to the other side. It's like your first real big interview after leaving the administration. You know this issue better than anyone. What will this mean for the country? Why should the average American watching this tonight care about this issue of deportations and border enforcement?
Thank you for having me on, Laura. If you read the text of this order, it is breathtaking and mind-boggling in its scope. It halts all deportations for 100 days, including the most hardened criminals living in the United States. That means child molesters, sex offenders, drug dealers, gang members, MS-13, all shielded from removal. This is the priority of our new president with a raging pandemic. His top priority is to make it so that brave ICE officers can't remove hardened criminals from our country. It is flatly illegal. It is completely unconstitutional. And as an American citizen, I, for one, am gratified that the Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, is stepping up and threatening to sue the Biden administration if they don't immediately revoke this patently lawless directive.
Yeah, well, we need all the state attorneys general in border states, or any state, frankly, to file suit on this. It has to go immediately to the Supreme Court. Mark, Biden's press secretary had something to say about the issue of defunding the border wall today. Watch.
The last 4 years, the immigration policy has been based around funding for a wall. That has not worked, even to keep the country safer, even to keep bad actors out. And so his approach is multi-pronged. It is to do smart security.
Commissioner, did the wall fail to keep bad actors out? She must be reading something other than what I'm consulting.
Laura, first of all, I hope all your listeners are really taking to heart what Agnes said. What she said was powerful, and I couldn't have said it any better than she said. But let me make my response, Laura, very clear. The press secretary of the President of the United States just lied to the American people. That's a blatant lie. The wall and the wall system works. Every single mile that goes in, this country is more secure because of it. And just a few hours after his inauguration, this president, with a stroke of a pen, Laura, made our borders less secure, our country less safe, and endangered every man and woman in the United States Border Patrol on our front lines defending our country. That's a fact. What she said is an outright lie.
Stephen, I guess the concern about COVID coming into the country. I mean, if you're from Europe and you fly in, you have to quarantine for 14 days. But if you're coming from Honduras illegally into the country, I guess you make a stopover and whoever has a bed, and then you're released into the country under this new provision. What does it say about their seriousness about law and order after the Capitol riot, and then COVID in the real world today?
What this memo says is that Americans are second-class citizens in their own country. What this memo says is that while you're locked in your home, while you're subject to one mandate after another, while you can't go to a restaurant or bar, whatever you may think about the validity of those measures, if you're an illegal alien, you can do whatever you want, including committing crimes against U.S. citizens. I want to underscore, Laura, the real-world impact of this, speaking as somebody who worked with our brave ICE officers the last 4 years, who saw what they did up close and personal. They will not be able to arrest the criminals in your neighborhood. When your police departments call and say, pick this criminal up, because of this memo, they can't arrest them, they can't deport them, they can't remove them from our country. How many innocent Americans, Laura, will get hurt because of this? How many innocent children will get hurt because of this? This isn't about right or left or Democrat or Republican. It's about fundamental morality and decency and, yes, democracy. Joe Biden gave a speech yesterday about democracy, and then hours later, he suspends hundreds of pages of immigration law with the stroke of a pen. That's not who we are as a country, Laura. That's just wrong.
And Mark, the ACLU believes this memo, the executive order, didn't go far enough. They want to reach back and to get people who've already been deported and bring them back to the country. Watch this.
We need all of those families to get relief. We need the parents to be brought back to the U.S. to reunite. Those we haven't found, when we do find them, and those we've already found that the Trump administration would not reunite. Once they're here, we need to stop their deportation to give them some path to legal citizenship.
I don't believe, any of the MS-13 are probably living in his neighborhood. But Mark, now we're going to reach back into Guatemala and Salvador and Honduras and beyond and pull back deported individuals. Close it out.
Laura, like you've already said, it's absurd. This is a travesty. And look, I, in my opinion, Laura, this president is actually inciting the next wave, the next illegal immigration crisis. It's already started. Let's take the migrants' own words. Quote, Biden has given us 100 days to make it to the United States. That's all you need to hear.
Yeah. And so Joe Biden, through this memo, through these priorities, is in effect inciting violence against the United States. That is something. Gentlemen,
gang
thank you so much.
members will be set free, Laura. Criminals will be set free. It's wrong. It has to be stopped.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you so much.